What happens when one of the most dominant names in American politics sits face to face with one of the boldest voices in independent media? What happens when the questions cross the line from sharp to personal, from bold to uncomfortable? You're about to see one of the most explosive sit-downs ever caught on camera. And believe me, you won't guess how it ends. But before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe and tell me in the comments whose side you're on, because this one is about to get intense. The studio was blazing under the hot lights. Donald Trump sat opposite Wendy Martinez on the stripped-down, no-frills set of the Wendy Archive. The show was infamous for cutting through the gloss, the kind of space where powerful figures either revealed something real or completely unraveled. Wendy had made her name by never backing off, and her viewers adored her for it. Trump knew her style and still showed up. Wendy leaned back casually, a sly smile tugging at her lips. In a sharp black blazer, her eyes locked onto Trump with an unflinching stare that even made the crew uneasy. Trump, in his usual navy suit and red tie, looked calm, maybe even too calm. "Let's start simple," Wendy said, her voice smooth but edged. "You've been called a businessman, a president, a disruptor, even a danger to democracy. How do you define yourself?" Trump shifted, flashing a confident grin. "Wendy, I see myself as a doer. I've built an empire. I've run this nation, and I've done it better than most ever imagined. The media loves to tear me down, but at the end of the day, the record speaks for itself." "The record," Wendy echoed, nodding slowly. "Your presidency left the country deeply divided. Cities on fire, families fractured over politics, and your supporters storming the Capitol. Do you own any responsibility for how heated things became on your watch?" Trump's smile dimmed. "Let's be clear. Those divisions existed long before I entered the White House. I didn't cause them, I revealed them. I called out the corruption, the fake news, the career politicians. As for the Capitol, I told people to protest peacefully. What happened was tragic, but you can't pin that on me." "But you spent months saying the election was stolen," Wendy pushed, leaning forward. "You rallied crowds, insisting their country was slipping away. Do you see why people connect the dots between your words and what happened?" Trump's jaw set. "I spoke what I believed. There were irregularities, questions that had to be asked. I had every right to challenge it, and millions stood with me. But you, like the mainstream press, just want to paint me as the villain." "Let's look at that," Wendy said, her tone even. "You've built your entire image on conflict, fighting, winning. But what I wonder is, when the cameras are off, when the cheering stops, do you ever wonder if the fight is worth it?" The room went silent. Trump stared, unreadable. Finally he spoke, his voice lower. "That's personal, Wendy. I don't regret anything. Regret is for people who didn't give their all. I gave everything, my businesses, my private life, my comfort. I don't ask if I should have been softer. That's not who I am. But that's not my question," Wendy pressed. "I didn't ask if you regret. I asked if you reflect. Reflection doesn't mean weakness, it means growth. From where I sit, it looks like you've never allowed yourself to admit you might not have all the answers." Trump narrowed his eyes. "So now you're my therapist?" "I'm asking for honesty," Wendy replied calmly. "Your supporters believe you because they think you're real. But realness means showing all sides, not just the strong man. Can you do that?" "I am real," Trump shot back, louder now. "What you see is what you get. I don't fake it. I say what I feel, and some people can't handle that. Or maybe," Wendy challenged, "you've been playing roles your whole life. The mogul on TV, the president on stage, the fighter in court. But when do you get to just be Donald Trump? The man, not the brand?" Trump leaned forward, pointing at her. "You think you know me? You don't. You don't know the weight I carry. You don't know what it's like to have half the country worship you and half hate you. Don't lecture me on authenticity." "You're right," Wendy said softly. "I don't know that. But I do know when people get defensive instead of answering. And right now, you're defensive." Trump laughed bitterly. "Of course I'm defensive. You're attacking me." "I'm not attacking you," Wendy countered. "I'm interviewing you. If honest questions feel like attacks, maybe that says more about you than me." The tension thickened. Trump's face flushed red, his fists gripping the chair arms. Wendy remained cool. "Let's talk family," she continued. "You've called yourself a family man. Yet your history with women, your marriages, the accusations, the things you've said tell a different story. How do you square that?" Trump shook his head. "Here it comes. The smear job. I knew this would happen. You people invite me on, pretend it's a real conversation, then start digging into tabloid junk." "These aren't tabloids," Wendy shot back. These are your own words. Court records. I'm asking you to respond. I've answered it all 1,000 times, Trump thundered. More scrutiny than anyone in history, and I'm still standing. Bring it up all you want, it won't change a thing. I'm not trying to bring you down, Wendy said firmly. I'm trying to understand. Millions call you a hero. Millions call you a villain. The truth has to be somewhere between, but you won't let people see that middle ground. Trump abruptly stood, his mic tugging at his shirt. The camera shifted, bracing for a moment. Wendy didn't flinch. You know what, Wendy? Trump barked. I don't need this. I thought this was going to be a real talk. Instead, it's an ambush. An ambush, Wendy replied evenly. Would be asking you things no one knows. Everything I've asked is public record. If you can't handle that, how can you handle leading again? Trump jabbed a finger toward her, his hand trembling. Don't you dare question my leadership. I've proved myself time and again. Then why are you here? Wendy asked. Why this show? Trump froze. His finger dropped, his confidence faltering. For the first time, cracks showed. I came here, he finally said, because I was told this was a place for real conversations, not edited sound bites. Clearly I was wrong. No, Wendy corrected. You were told right. Real conversations are uncomfortable. They push you. And right now you're running from that. I'm not running, Trump snapped, but he still hadn't sat back down. Then sit, Wendy challenged. Sit and answer. Why are you really here? I think part of you wants to be understood, but you can't let your guard down. For a flicker of a second, something shifted in Trump's expression. Uncertainty, maybe even exhaustion, but it vanished under his usual mask. You want to know why I came? He said, voice low and sharp. Because I thought you were different. I thought you cared about truth. But you're just like the rest, pushing your agenda. My agenda, Wendy replied, is simple, honest answers. But you keep dodging, blaming everyone else. When does the accountability fall on you? Trump's hands curled into fists. Accountability? Where's the accountability for those who went after me? For the prosecutors, the media lies? You want me to take blame while everyone else walks free? Not happening. I'm not asking for confessions, Wendy said, her patience thinning. I'm asking for honesty. But maybe honesty would unravel the image you've built, and you can't risk that. You don't get it, Trump snapped. You've never carried this kind of burden. You've never stood in front of millions knowing half hate you. Don't lecture me on reflection. I'm not lecturing, Wendy said, rising to face him eye to eye. I'm holding up a mirror, and you don't like what you see. The room went still. Crew members exchanged nervous glances. Tell me this, Wendy said, her voice gentler but sharp. With all the crowds, the rallies, the followers, do you ever feel alone? Do they know you or just the act? Trump's jaw clenched. What kind of question is that? An honest one, Wendy said. Because I see someone surrounded yet isolated, someone exhausted by their own walls. Do you ever wish you could drop the act? I'm not lonely, Trump shot back. I've got millions who support me. But do they know you or the brand? Wendy pressed. They know me better than you ever will. Maybe, Wendy said softly, but I'd bet even those closest don't see the real you. Because you've convinced yourself vulnerability is weakness. It is weakness, Trump barked. Show weakness and people destroy you. That's how I've survived. But at what cost? Wendy asked. You've survived. You've succeeded. But have you lived? You don't get to ask me that, Trump growled. I do, Wendy insisted. You asked for trust, votes, loyalty. That comes with tough questions. If you can't handle it, maybe you're not as strong as you say. I can handle anything, Trump said through clenched teeth. Then prove it, Wendy said. Sit back down. Show substance, not just noise, Trump hesitated. His pride fought his survival instinct. You think everyone wants therapy on camera? He sneered. Some of us have real work to do. Calling reflection self-indulgent? Wendy scoffed. You've built your career making everything about yourself. If that's not indulgent, what is? How dare you, Trump snarled. I've built towers, been president. What have you done? Interview people? That's nothing. And there it is, Wendy said. The ego. The reflex to belittle when challenged. That's not strength, it's insecurity. This isn't ego, it's fact, Trump said. You're out of your depth. This isn't about toughness, Wendy shot back. This is about being real. And you can't do it. You turn every conversation into a fight. But this isn't a rally, it's supposed to.